When you think of India, what comes to mind? Maybe it's the monsoons, the mighty rivers, but also, maybe, the parched earth. It's this incredible contrast that we're diving into today. India's really complex and often paradoxical relationship with water. Okay, so let's start with a question that feels like a real head-scratcher. We all know Earth is the blue planet, right? It's literally covered in water. So how on earth are we constantly hearing about water shortages and crises? The two things just don't seem to add up. Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't really about the total amount of water on the planet. The real challenge, the part that matters, boils down to three key things. Is the water we have clean enough to use? Can people actually get to it? And, are we being smart about how we manage it, or are we just letting it all slip through our fingers?
And there are very few places on Earth where all of these pressures are more intense than in India. So let's dive in and really break down what's driving this huge and growing crisis. First off, let's get on the same page about what water scarcity actually means. It's not as simple as just there's no rain. Not at all. A place can get tons of rainfall and still have a major water crisis if that water is being used up too fast, if it's polluted, or if it's simply not being shared fairly. So in India, what we see is really a perfect storm of factors. You've got agriculture, which is absolutely vital to feed the country, but it just drinks up a massive amount of the available water. At the same time, cities are booming, so industries and homes all need more and more. This creates this incredible competition, where you might see people in a village lining up for a single bucket, while somewhere else the taps run freely. And the real kicker? So much of the water that is left is being polluted by all that growth. If you want a really clear picture of this, just think about rice. It's a staple food, right? It's grown everywhere. But wow, is it a thirsty crop? To feed over 1 billion people, you have to pull just colossal amounts of water from rivers and from deep underground. And those sources? They're being pushed right to their absolute limits. So facing this challenge right after independence, India's leaders made a huge bet. They went all in on one single monumental solution: megadams. The big question is, did that bet pay off? Were they the saviors everyone hoped they'd be? This quote from Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first prime minister, just says it all. He called dams the temples of modern India. Think about that for a second. They weren't just seen as concrete and steel. They were powerful symbols of progress, of a new nation that was going to conquer drought and power its future. And boy, did they go for it. This wasn't just a few projects here and there. We're talking about a massive network of dams built all across the country's major rivers. It was this huge nationwide effort to, tame the rivers and completely reshape the country's relationship with water. But as with so many big ideas, there was a flip side, a really serious one. On one hand, yes, the dams brought electricity, water for farms, and flood control. But on the other hand, they also flooded huge areas, wiping out forests and entire villages. Millions of people were forced from their homes, and the river ecosystems took a massive hit. This sparked decades of protest, like the really famous Narmada Bachao Andolan, the Save the Narmada River movement. All this controversy kind of forced everyone to step back and ask, okay, is there another way to do this? And what's so fascinating is that one of the best answers wasn't some newfangled technology. It was right there in the past, in these ancient techniques that were perfectly adapted to the local environment. Okay, let's go on a quick tour. Up in the Himalayas, for centuries, people have been using these incredibly clever but really simple gravity-fed channels. They're called gulls or kools, and they just guide water from melting glaciers right down to the farms. It's genius. Then you go to the deserts of Rajasthan, a totally different world. And they had a totally different solution. They built these earthen structures called khaddans and johads. The whole point was to catch every single precious drop of monsoon rain, let it soak slowly into the ground, and refill the wells they need to survive the long dry season. And check this out. Over in the floodplains of Bengal, farmers didn't try to fight the annual floods. They worked with them. They built these intricate channels designed to welcome the floodwaters, guiding all that nutrient-rich silt onto their fields. It was like free, natural fertilizer delivered right to their doorstep. So smart. But maybe one of the most elegant examples of all is this 200-year-old system from Meghalaya. I mean, it is a masterpiece of ecological engineering. They used local bamboo to build this intricate network of pipes that taps into springs on hillsides, and then gravity just does all the work, carrying the water over huge distances.
And the efficiency is just mind-blowing. You might start with 20 liters of water entering the system, and by the time it gets to the plant, it's been slowed and divided until it's delivered with incredible precision. We're talking 20 to 80 drops per minute, right at the root. There's almost zero waste. It's just incredible.
Now, this isn't just a cool history lesson. This kind of ancient wisdom is a vital solution today. Get this. The city of Shillong is located near some of the wettest places on the entire planet, yet the city itself faces serious water shortages. It's a crazy paradox. And one of the key solutions? That simple traditional idea of rooftop rainwater harvesting. It now supplies up to a quarter of the city's water, proving these old ideas are more relevant than ever.
So this blend of ancient wisdom and very modern needs has inspired one of India's most ambitious projects in recent memory, a national mission to finally solve that last-mile problem and get clean, piped water into every single home. It's called the Jal Jeevan Mission. It kicked off in August 2019 with one clear, massive goal: provide a working tap water connection to every single rural household in the entire country. And they set an ambitious deadline, 2024.
To really get the scale of this challenge, just look at the starting point. When the mission began in 2019, only about 17%, that's less than 1 in 5, rural homes in India had a tap water connection. Just wrap your head around that for a second.
Okay, now fast forward just 5 years. That number, it jumped from 17% to nearly 78%. That is a monumental leap. It represents a fundamental, life-changing shift for hundreds of millions of people, improving health, education, and just creating new opportunities. And this brings us right back to the core of the dilemma. India has both of these incredible toolkits, right? It has the grand, modern engineering of the megadam, and it has the sophisticated, ancient wisdom of the bamboo pipe. So it leaves us with one final, critical question. Is the biggest challenge really about managing the water, or is it about managing ourselves?